Place value discs by Dallas Froome. These are what the place value discs look like in the second grade classroom that I am in for my practicum. There are red discs that represent the ones, blue discs to represent the tens, and green discs to represent the hundreds. The first activity I have is a dice game. Its domain is operations and algebraic thinking. The standard has students represent and solve problems involving addition and subtraction, and the objective is students will be able to create numbers using dice and then solve problems using those numbers. So in this activity, the students will roll a dice, and then the number that is on the dice, that number will go in the ones place. Then they roll 2 more times, placing the number in the tens and the hundreds. And then once they have 2 to 3 numbers, they create a word problem with those numbers and then use the place value discs to help them solve the problem they created. The next activity I have is called Bundle Baskets. The domain is number and operations in base 10, and the standard is to understand place value. The objective for this activity is students will be able to bundle ones into tens and tens into hundreds. So in this activity, students will have 3 baskets, one for the ones, tens, and hundreds place. They will be given addition or subtraction problems, and then they put the place value discs in the appropriate basket, and then they bundle them according to the math problems. So if they have to bundle ones into a 10, then they would take all the ones out of the basket and place one 10 place value disc in the tens place. They can also do this for hundreds, and then they do it in subtraction too. The last activity I have is called Splitting Shapes. So it's under the geometry domain, and then the standard is to reason with shapes and their attributes. The objective of this activity is students will be able to split shapes into equal parts and represent the parts with place value discs. So there are some example pictures on this slide. Students will be able to choose various shapes, and then we'll split them into equal parts, and then they put a 1 disc in each part of their shape, and then they can bundle the discs to make fractions. This is just an activity to introduce them to fractions, and then also recognizing the numbers within fractions and the numerators and denominators. So for example, the shape on the left, they would have 2 discs, 1 on each side, and then they could take out 1 and say that this is 1/2 of the whole, and they would also recognize that the 2 on the bottom of the fraction represents the shape as a whole, and then do this for various shapes. I chose to use place value discs because we have been using them very often in my practicum class, and I can see that it is so important that students learn at an early age what place value is and why it is important, because it will follow them through their entire math curriculum and through life. It is crucial that students construct this meaning for themselves through applicable hands-on activities. This understanding begins at an early age with repeated use of manipulatives such as place value discs.